Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Netflix and the new series that they're trying to promote. It's called Cuties. And there's absolutely nothing cute about it. Nothing cute at all about this series. Now, I already talked about this subject, but someone pointed out something very important that I believe needs to be highlighted here. It kind of shows the mindset of society today where they are slowly and softly trying to normalize things, right? And it happens in subtle ways. So you have to pay attention to everything. Now, the point was made that Netflix, they kind of responded to the backlash, but they wanted to say, I want you all to understand that this French film did win an award. With the Sundance, it's a Sundance Award or whatever. So they wanted to point that out. The Sundance Film Festival, they won an award. So, in other words, Netflix is saying, don't be so hard on them. It's a French film. It's already won an award with the Sundance Film Festival. And so when you look a little bit closer at the Sundance Film Festival, this is what you find out, that Sterling Van Wagenen, it says he's an Oscar-winning filmmaker and the co-founder of the Sundance Film Festival. It says that he was charged with abusing a 9-year-old girl sexually. And so then what that does is it says, well, Netflix, you wanted to point out the fact that this film won an award from the co-founder of the Sundance Film Festival, who was charged with being inappropriate with a 9-year-old. So then that award means nothing. So why use that as defense that the film was okay, but you're responding to the backlash, but you want people to know that the film won an award? You have to understand, just because something wins an award, who gave the award? In this case, it was someone who you know. Okay, look, he's already into 9-year-olds. So of course, he's going to give the film an award, because it's a film that features little girls in a way that parents do not approve of. This film got so much backlash, and rightfully so, because they are trying to normalize these things in this day and age. A lot of parents, unfortunately, on the other side of that, you have parents who would jump at the opportunity to feature their child in something like this for the money. Offer them the right amount of money and they will put their child right in that film. But on the other side of that, I'm glad to see that there were a lot of parents who said, no way. A lot of parents and other people, organizations, and just groups, period, coming out against this publicly, saying this is not okay. This is not okay. No amount of money should be acceptable for a parent to allow their child or their daughter to be in some mess like that. I was also glad to see that a lot of parents said that their daughters will not be watching the film. Now, with us having a population of close to 8 billion, we're still in the 7 billions right now, you got to know that there is a huge portion of that population who don't care. They're going to let their daughters watch it anyway. And they would also be more than happy to allow their daughters to be featured in films like this. So there's always going to be good on one side and bad on the other. There's always going to be the parents who just don't care. I remember years ago, many years ago, Jenny Jones, that used to be a very popular talk show. And I remember there were mothers who brought their daughters dressed in clothes very similar to the young ladies in this film, Cuties. And the mothers were just basically defending their right to dress their daughters like little tricks. They were defending their right. They were getting upset at audience members who didn't approve of it, who thought it was a bad idea. And they had that attitude of mind your own business. When you tell someone to mind their own business, it's usually one of those things where you're just going to be defiant. You don't care what the outcome of your defiance is going to be. But when you or your child finds yourself in some serious trouble, done hooked up with some man who's no good, is going to mistreat and abuse her and do all kinds of things, then all of a sudden you want everybody in your business because you want help now. You see, this generation is waxing worse and worse. We have to understand that a lot of the mothers who raised daughters like that were probably like that themselves, who had mothers who were afraid to tell them no, afraid to set boundaries and standards. In today's time, you have a lot of people who are afraid to set boundaries and standards. They make it seem as though you are just over the top, that you're doing too much, you're saying too much, and your guidelines are just too hard to reach, you see. And they try to guilt you into thinking that, well, you did this or you did that. I've talked about this before, where this generation, they will try to use some type of reverse psychology and say, well, how can you tell me, I'm just going to say smoke. How can you tell me not to smoke when you said you used to smoke? How can you tell me not to smoke marijuana when you used to do it? Right? And so what that does is that's a way of trying to silence you. They want to silence you because they want to continue doing it, what it is that they're doing, and they don't want any backlash or any mouth from parents or any type of authority. And so that is, to me, a form of witchcraft. It's a form of witchcraft to try to continue doing what you're doing and silence those who are in authority over you by saying that you used to do it. Now, I call that witchcraft because a parent or a grandparent or an authority figure has every right to tell you that something was wrong. Just because they did it in the past doesn't give you a right to use that and say, well, you did it, and so I'm going to do it. They are telling you because they've already made the mistakes. They've already had the error in their lives to play out in the way that it has. Some just say drugs. Someone who had a life that was filled with drugs and partying and just all this kind of stuff, they may have gone down a wrong road that caused them to make a whole lot of mistakes. And so they're telling you, don't go down this road, because they already know where it ends up. And you're saying, well, let me have my fun. Let me do my thing. It's my life. Let me make my mistakes. That's not even biblical. A parent has every right to tell you not to do something that they have done. See, people don't understand what hypocrisy is. I believe that it's hypocrisy if a parent is smoking and doing drugs right now and then telling you not to do it, but they're still doing it. Now, a parent who has cleaned up their life and they've stopped doing these things and they're trying to teach you and show you a better way, they have every right to tell you that this is wrong for you, that you shouldn't be doing these things. You can mess your life up. They have every right to do that. But this younger generation, they are very crafty these days. They use your past to say that you can't talk to me about my present. But see, that parent or that authority figure, that grandparent or whatever, they are trying to save your future because they've already made the mistakes in the past. And so they're talking to you right now so that you don't make the mistakes that they've made in the past that will ruin your future. Get your eyes open and stop being rebellious. There's a lot of rebellion going on, a lot of young people doing all kinds of things because parents are afraid to be parents now. They don't want to say anything because this system was designed to break the parents' authority over the children and give the authority to the children. It was designed that way. And so we as parents have got to stand our ground. If you know something is wrong, you have got to tell your children that is wrong, regardless to what this system says. Because as you see, they are pushing things in the cartoons and in the movies, and they're slowly telling you that these things are okay. They're telling you these things are okay so that you can be comfortable in your error. They want you to feel comfortable in doing things that you know are wrong. But then when you grow up and you've made those massive mistakes, you look back and you say, I should have listened. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's too late now. Too late now. Anyway, I already know most of you are not going to be allowing your daughters to watch Cuties. You're not going to be watching Cuties. Hopefully it will just sink on out of existence. That is what we hope for. Anyway, tell me what you think about this subject in the comment section. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And with that, I am out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.